Welcome to the Silhouettes of Success podcast with your host, successful entrepreneur, broker, and business mentor, Amber Weitzer. Because success comes in all shapes, sizes, and styles, the Silhouettes of Success podcast is shining the light on industrious women with a collection of curated conversations of intentional inspiration designed to inspire your heart, ignite your mind, feed your soul, and gift you with actionable insights directly from inspirational, everyday women who've shown tenacity, grit, and grace, having taken on the challenges in their lives and business and won. Remarkable, down-to-earth, and relatable, Amber and her guests will share with you uplifting and extraordinary real-life success stories, motivational ideas that just might help spark something within you. With the deepest desire to serve you, help you grow so you can begin to shine the light that will illuminate your very own silhouette of success. So, let's get to it.
Hello and welcome to the Amber Weitzer podcast, Silhouettes of Success. Our VIP featured guest is the co-owner and co-founder of Dux Somnium alongside her husband, Dusty. She loves the quality and craftsmanship of vintage antiques. Born and raised in California, she and Dusty met freshmen of, if y'all get this, because I had to read through this a couple of times learning her story. They met when they were freshmen in high school and they have been together ever since. And I just got to talk with both of them a little bit and it was so fun. I mean, they're just such a great team, but this is about her today. So talking through some of her intro here, she has a great background and it is filled with interior design, entrepreneurship. They have a lavender farm. She and they have turned passions into businesses, family, and so much more. So let's just get her on to share with us about this just exciting phase of their and her journey and Silhouettes of Success. Let's bring on Amy Droz. Hello, Amy. How are you today?
I'm great. I'm totally blushing. It's so weird to hear that.
Well, so it's so crazy when we reflect back and we look and we think, wow, is that me? Is that me? But again, this is all about you and your Silhouette of Success journey. And I always tease, I say at this phase, because sometimes we're just getting started and we don't realize it. But what an exciting adventure. It's almost like a storybook to me, reading through and learning your story. So let's just kick it off. The audience really loves and has come to appreciate hearing more about the early shaping of your Silhouette of Success. So do you want to share more about the background up to this point of your journey?
Yeah, it's crazy how everything kind of led up to this. It's weird to look back and be like, if those things wouldn't have happened, would I still be at this same place? So I went to Chico State for interior design, and also I did art history and photography classes as well. I've always been a creator. And then after college, I started working for an interior designer. And then 2007 hit. Well, we also got married that year. So we graduated from college, got married, and got jobs and moved into a house all in the same year.
If you're going to do it, you're going to go big, right?
Yeah. We're why did we do that? But yeah, so, and then 2007 hit. And I lost my job. I mean, I hadn't been working there for that long. But I had also always taken photography, photographs and the photography classes. It's really a random story how we got to this point. But then Dusty bought me my first actual professional camera. And one of our friends was like, hey, can you take senior portraits of my little sister? And so we did. And then we're like, hey, we could do this. So we became wedding photographers. Dusty was an IT consultant at the time, and he continued that for several years until we felt like we could stop. He could stop working and we could do photography. And also he does website businesses too. So like visitor bureaus. So he did that and we did the photography. And then let's see. Then we had our son, he's 8 now. And so then we were kind of thinking, oh, like it takes us away from our family time. But then COVID hit, like all these little points hit, and then that makes us change. And so kind of both of our businesses like went under. Well, not really went under, but we had to like shift gears. Like I think we only shot 5 weddings that year, and like Dusty couldn't like really work. The travelers bureaus didn't have any budget because they basically got shut down as well. So we were like, well, what can we do? Okay, let's start a lavender farm. And then we were like, well, lavender takes a few years to grow in. And so what can we do? Let's start making flower presses. I always loved like nature and taking pictures of flowers and pressing flowers when I was a kid. And we were also making little like lavender sachets and stuff. And we started an Etsy business. And then that started taking off. But we were still doing like, once the photography came back, we could do that. But then strangely enough, I think it takes, some people say like 3 years for people to meet, get engaged, and get married. So then we got like a slump again, and we weren't getting very many weddings. What was it? Last year, I think. I'm trying to remember my timeline. We didn't have like hardly any weddings booked. And so we were like, what can we do? And a little while before that, Dusty's into like painting miniatures, and we also really love playing board games. And so then he was saying he wanted a 3D printer or a resin printer. And so we're like, well, how can we make money off of that? Because, we basically always are like, well, how can we turn that into a business? And so we're like, well, we already have an Etsy shop. He could make some miniatures and then it would pay for the machine, right? And we could write it off. And then we were looking into it and we're like, well, everyone makes the same miniatures. And like, we could always hire someone to design some new ones. And then, hey, if we do that, we could always just make a board game. And so then we started on like down the road to make this other board game that was like more sci-fi fantasy with miniatures. And then we were realizing it took a while to like get all the art assets, and it was going to be expensive too. All the miniature sculpts. He wanted like 20 miniatures in his game. Like it was getting up there in price, and like we didn't have a ton of money because we weren't able to shoot any, like we didn't have a ton of weddings booked. And so then I was like, one night we were like in the kitchen, and I was like, what do you think about making a game about flower hunters? And he's like, tell me more. And I was like, well, I've been reading all these books because I'm really into flowers, and I actually follow Fleur a lot. And I had started like buying tons of seeds, and I was going to start drying a ton of different flowers. So flowers kind of just like take over our lives. And I was like, well, I've been reading all these books about these Victorian flower hunters, and they're really like interesting, like adventures and crazy what they did. And so then we were like, and we could even use historical public domain artwork. And so it's already available. And I collect vintage books all the time. I love vintage books. I love antiques. And so I was like, they're so gorgeous. We could use those. And that way we wouldn't have to wait around for the art. And plus it's like an aesthetic that I just love. And so then like that weekend we started like a prototype. We printed out a map, drew some like actually we wrote on our son's Pokemon like cards that you could like scan, like the trash cards. Like you're just supposed to scan them and then trash them, whatever, so he can get a free online Pokemon deck or something. And so we played it and we're like, yeah, this could work. And then we just started designing the thing, and then we went to Kickstarter, and yeah, it's just been crazy ever since.
Okay, so the audience, I am so excited about this. But then because clearly that's how I found you, right? um, you both, and I guess it's it's a family adventure because clearly if you're using Pokemon cards, the kids have complete buy-in. But the audience, this is so crazy and so cool. But I am very excited to hear the backstory on all of the puzzle pieces, literally of this adventure of yours. How it started coming together. It's just so wild and
Yeah.
exciting.
And we kind of also use a lot of the like things that. So we take all the photographs, or a lot of them. So we put that skill. Then also in college, I learned about art history. And so like I put that aspect into all of our game designs because I love being able to research all that stuff. Yeah, and then we were able to put like our small business things that we've learned about, like Etsy shops and stuff. And I mean, our game also includes flower presses in it. But just kind of combining all those things that we've learned. I mean, it was a lot more to learn about publishing yourself and mass manufacturing on a large scale. I mean, we're not manufacturing, but learning how they do it. And we hired a really great manufacturer too. So yeah, it's just insane how everything combined.
It is, and I am so we're going to skip around now because again, I've got my flow here, but we're throwing that out the window because I want to stay on this for a little bit with you. So talk to the audience. You have 2 games, correct?
Yeah,
Or
we
more?
actually also
Yeah.
launched at the same time as Fleur, which is a Rococo garden building game. We
Yes,
launched.
it is, and I'm so excited.
Did you see? We also made a kids version.
Isn't that in one of my little packs? Is it what's it called? It's not petite. Is it petite?
Yeah, it's the
Yeah.
La Petite Fleur.
Yes,
And
I did see that.
so yeah, our kids, Poppy, well, Aurora Poppy, she is 4, and then Ronan is 8, and they help design it. And Poppy, she's like, she loves talking about La Petite Fleur and how she's so excited people want to buy it and play it like all over the world. And
Yeah.
she really wants to make a Botany version too for kids.
How cool. Okay, so break it down for the audience about your games. What are they? We'll get to details on contact info and all that later, how they can find you. But share a little bit more about, Botany. Share a little bit more about Fleur. What are they?
Yeah, so Botany, you are a Victorian flower hunter and you're traversing the globe finding specimens and bringing them back to your estate in England to gain reputation. And so what's really neat is all the flower specimen cards are actual like specimens that they had discovered around that time or earlier. And they're from that specific region too. So it was kind of interesting trying. They used to not all the flowers have like changed names, and some of the scientific names have changed, and some of them were before they were like scientifically named as well. So it was kind of a lot of research to find that. We also hired like after I had made it and after it was successful on Kickstarter, we hired a botanist to actually make sure that these flowers were what they were, because lots of times they were mislabeled.
Mm-hmm.
And then you also have, so whenever we were designing it, we're like, okay, so how do we include these adventures or these little mishaps that would happen to some of these hunters? So we have these event cards that you would turn over whenever you're collecting a specimen, and then you roll the dice and see if it's something good or something bad. And so like some of the events that happen, or like I read about this one guy who was, I think he was in Africa, and he stuck a little specimen in his pocket where his toothbrush was. And then he brushed his teeth and then like noticed his heart rate was like slowing down, like what was going on. And he realized, well, that plant was poisonous. And so, so just some little fun tidbits that we put in there. And then there's so not all of them are actual historically correct. Just some of them like have a nod to it.
Yes.
And then there's another one where like sometimes when you're in the snow hunting for rare specimens, you could go snowblind. So there was a flower hunter that was like snowblind in one eye. I think he also had a pet falcon too. So that's where the falcon came in. And then some of the other ones, like who knows if someone had a pet bear, but it was kind of fun to include it. And I mean, we also have a running joke about bees. And so, of course, there's bees, and sometimes they're aggressive. Oh my gosh, actually, the other day, we were doing a photo shoot for a friend, and I put some props down. It was for her baby's 1-year birthday. And bees like started attacking us. So I'm like, oh my gosh, this is like aggressive bees straight out from Botany. And like, yeah, they bit both me and Dusty. Luckily, the baby hadn't got put there yet.
Oh, mercy.
Yeah, so
Boy, talk about real adventure.
I know.
Oh my gosh. You guys are like literally in your own adventure.
we were at a park. I just accidentally stepped on some bees. I think it was their hive. But
talk to us about Fleur. So that's your newest one.
And so Fleur, that's a Rococo garden builder. And like lots of people from Botany were like, oh my gosh, I wish I could collect some more garden features. So in Botany, you can buy some garden features. There's just like a few and then gain reputation. So we're like, we could totally have more garden features in this next game. And Fleur also includes one of my favorite botanical illustrators, Pierre Joseph Redouté. And he was alive during that time. So I'm like, this is perfect. He has gorgeous artwork and it's like time specific. And so then we're like, so why would they be having collecting all these flowers and garden features? Well, obviously they want to attract people for a garden party. So in each round, you can go around and collect flowers at the market or send special invitations to visitors, or buy garden features, get coins, prestige. And then at the end of the round, you see who each visitor will come to. So like Pierre prefers architecture while like Amelie likes flowers. So each garden feature has like flowers on it or like an architectural symbol. So it's fun to like try to compete. And you're always like, it seems like you're peering over the like fence over to your neighbor's like garden, trying to see, oh, what do you have? Well, I need to go get some more flowers so I can make sure to beat you in the flowers. So Amelie will come to my party.
So thrilled for you. And you mentioned it earlier, how it pulls what you all are doing has pulled in all of the components, a lot of the components of different phases in your journey. So as you began to embark on this path, what do you think most influenced you? Was it the draw to the creative? Was it you talked about kind of the whys, but what really kept you going along this path?
I just love creating, and we love being able to have people play our game around the world. It's just crazy. Like whenever we first released Botany, we thought like a few people might buy it, but just the amount of people that buy it and say, "Oh my gosh, this is the best game ever." I mean, not everyone thinks that, but it's just amazing to think. Like some people tell me that I'm like that they're fangirls. I'm like, what? You're a fangirl of me? What? But I just love creating, and I love thinking about different games and how we could make them. Like I look at like all these vintage books that I buy and now I can write them off. I'm like, how can
Bonus.
I make a game about that?
When you are maybe in your creative flow or process, or there's, again, that was the last with Fleur was quite a phenomenal goal. So if you get stuck in a certain phase, because the audience loves to listen in and hear from you and your real life story, but we know we don't get to see what's behind the curtain. So if you get stuck or maybe in a rut, how do you what would be a best practice that works for you that you might share? How do you get unstuck to reach that goal or dream?
Huh. Sometimes we just go work on something else, or like I'm out in the garden or something, and we just think of something. Like it comes to you, just go do something else for a while, and then you're like, you figure out, oh, that's what, like how to solve that problem.
It's so to get up and I've heard over the years, change your scenery, just like you're saying. Walk away, take a quick time out, and especially you've got such a creative streak and the art and the history, and but then you've got Dusty, who's IT and creative also. So you've got quite a team collective there between the two of you with your long standing romance. But do you have another avenue or resource that you lean into for additional support, whether it be maybe on the entrepreneur side or a group that you belong to? Any other resources?
Not really. We also live out in the middle of the country.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so we're just home on our farm.
Well, to me, that is, there you go. You've got nature, you've got everything around you, and sometimes and I'm clearly understanding just the intensity of the creative opportunities within your family. There's just
Mhm.
so much there, and the love and the passion for doing it. I mean, you exude joy in hearing you and listening to you, truly. And it's just so exciting to connect with you. Okay, so we're going to press on, my friends. So talking through, and sometimes this is more of a little sobering, the realism type of question. Maybe not. I don't know. You're gonna tell me. Um, a pseudo two-part question. Thinking through your journey, was there ever a specific point in time or key situation, and you might have touched on it with the photography and the wedding business, in the professional life that really forced you to take a monumental shift? And if it was that example and going through it, positive or painful, how did that help you grow as a person?
Yeah, I think it was like the COVID. I mean, I'm sure that changed so many people's lives,
Yeah.
and they had to reevaluate what they were doing, if it's what they were passionate about, and if they want to continue. And yeah, just really that. And we had to shift focus and try to figure out something. We've also always been like, okay, so photography and flower presses were basically wage work. And like, how could we like make more and work less? But of course, we're also small businesses, so we're always working more, right?
Right.
But like, continue to make money while we're doing something else. And so we had never really been able to figure it out until we're like board games. And now we get to play board games and we're still working. Um, and I get a workout in my garden, and I'm technically kind of still working, right?
So it is really, it's like I said, joyful. I don't care to use the word enviable, but so many get to live vicariously through what you have created and what you are doing. And a lot of people can strive to find something like that for themselves, right? Within
Mhm.
what they're doing. You are such a great illumination of an example of finding something that you really do have a passion for to turn it into a business and a livelihood with your family, for your family.
Yeah, you're making me blush again.
Well, I want you to blush a little bit because you know, it's true, right? And it's a compliment, and it's so exciting to watch that for somebody. And so I am honored that you're here sharing that, because hopefully it will help uplift someone else, right? We just want to
Mhm.
pass that along. That's why we're here. Um I'm watching the time, and I know we've got, we've had some lizards, because we're teasing the audience. I'm just going to say, we didn't plan that, but we did. No, because it teases them to just know how creative and fun your lives are over there. So they go buy your games to play that for themselves. Have that little escape. But I'm going to start, respecting the clock here and winding it down. But before we take a quick sponsor break, talking through some of your resources that help either inspire you or uplift you. What could you share with the audience that are maybe some of your favorites? Maybe expand our minds, get us through the day. Do you have any favorites? You talk a lot about history resources and your, vintage and antique books, or whether it's some artists. What would you want to share a favorite with the audience?
Well, I love going on Instagram and Pinterest, obviously, and looking at all the gorgeous flower gardens and vintage dresses. But also, I like going on like auction houses
Uh-huh.
and trying to find different books that I could potentially buy or find that have a historical aspect that I think could be make a cool game.
Love that. I love that. You enjoy research projects and
I
researching, and
do.
yes, yes.
And like I have all these Pinterest boards and like some other websites where I go and find like the artwork, and I make all these little like folders. So I like have 30 games that I found some artwork for already. I'm like, oh, this could be a game. This could be a game. And then I go through and research even more.
Well, we're going to take a quick break to hear from this episode's sponsor, and we'll be right back. And then we want to dive into how the audience can connect with you and support you. So, 1 second, we'll be right back. I personally have been investing with Ashcroft Capital for about 5 years. I know the co-founder, Joe Fairless, pretty darn well. He's my brother, so I can personally vouch for him and how he approaches things. I like investing with Ashcroft because of the monthly cash flow. They buy apartment buildings, improve them, and then sell them. It's a good business to be in, and I'm glad to passively invest with them. You can learn more at ashcroftcapital.com. That's ASHCROFT capital.com. All right, we are back. Amy, it has been just, I'm tickled. My cheeks, you talk about blushing. My cheeks are sore from smiling, truly. And that's I'm so grateful to you for that. um, and I am, as one of your supporters, am so excited to get the game and share these games and share you and your family and Dusty's journey in creating these spectacular gifts of board gaming and visions and creativity with the world. I can't wait to get my hands on mine.
Thank you so much for your support. It means the world to us. We just can't believe that people want to buy our games.
Yes. Well, are you kidding? Oh, that's just it to me. It's eye candy, first of all. And of course, I'm right there with you. in your favorite things. So, okay, milady. So we keep a promise to our audience to share like a key piece of inspiration. Intentional inspiration is what I call it.
Mhm.
Whether it's a quote, could be a famous quote, could be something that, was passed down to you, could be something that a piece of advice that you hold dear and treasure. Is there anything that you'd want to pass on to the audience?
Yeah, so we talk a lot about like wealth dynamics, which is like knowing what you are good at and like being able to realize what you're good at, focus on that, and then hire out other people that could do that other work for you that you might not be good at or might not like. So like we don't like selling. So we hired a company to sell our game for us, like to go talk to retail stores and whatnot. And we also don't like taxes. So we hire a tax person. But yeah, so I'm good at creating. So I focus on the creating aspect. And Dusty's good at making all the systems and running a business. So that's what he focuses on a lot more.
Perfect. Perfect. Know your strengths.
Yep.
Hire out, save time and money by doing
Yep.
that. Okay, milady, the stage is all yours. And your stage would be surrounded by beautiful flowers and just where can the audience go to find and connect with you on your socials or whatever contact information you want to share to support you and your continued success?
Yeah, so we're on Instagram at Dux Somnium. It's DuxSomnium, and also info at duxsomnium.com. And you can also still pre-order Fleur on Kickstarter for a little while longer. And then look for us on Instagram. We usually do announcements there about new upcoming games or if we're releasing an expansion or anything.
Awesome. Okay, but that led me, I'm going to throw one more question in here before we wrap up, if that's okay.
Oh, yeah.
Talk to us about your company name. How did you all come to that? It's so beautiful.
Oh,
give us the origin. Give us a story.
Dusty usually has his video game handles is Dux Balorum is his video game handle. So then whenever we were coming up with a game name, it was actually for his other game. And the other game is based on, or was based on his dreams, right? All these crazy sci-fi dreams. And so Dux Somnium means like leader of dreams, I think. And so that's what it was. And now that's why we chose that name for the other board game that he was creating. But I mean, it still works because like this is our dream that we're now creating.
I think it's magical. It was a perfect way to wrap up and it was not planned. As you were saying that, I realized so many, while I have you, I have to ask these questions. So I know it wasn't in any kind of logical order, but hey, we're creative, so that's okay.
Yep.
Except for when we're doing the game, right? All right, milady, it has been phenomenal. And audience, yes, go check them out, see what they're doing. Amy and Dusty are known to put on some fabulous video presentations in costume. I get tickled. I love it when you're just at the kitchen table with your prototypes. I mean, you have my attention, my heart, and my admiration in what you're doing. So much success to all of you. So, all right, milady, I will let you go until next time. It's been
Thank you
fabulous.
So much.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for sharing your silhouette of success story with us. And I think we'll have to do a part 2 later. All right. Until next time, Amy. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of the Silhouettes of Success podcast. If you enjoyed the show, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on all the new episodes. We are here for you and with you. We encourage you to share this podcast on all your socials and pass on the light to help illuminate another silhouette of success. To find out the latest ways to inspire your heart, ignite your mind, and gain actionable insights, subscribe at thesilhouettesofsuccess.com or connect with us on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. We're grateful that you tuned in. Remember, you are exactly where you need to be, right here with us. This is the Amber Weitzer podcast, Silhouettes of Success.